Testing. 1 2 1 2. My door is not closed. Let me close my door. Have a sip of water. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Surprise Madula and this is my channel By Faith We See. I'm back with another video and this is a continuation of the recruitment series. I'm aware that I'm not able to obviously help every individual that comes to me, so I thought that why not make more videos within the recruitment series to be able to assist you guys and give you guys all the information that I have so that obviously you can have a better chance when it comes to applications. I am aware, that the countries, is opening back up, so there are more opportunities being available, and obviously each and every one of us want to apply for the best opportunity possible. But then today I wanted to do I guess, light-hearted video, if you will. I don't know if you can call it that. But these are some of the mistakes that we make as young people when we get our first jobs. Now, these mistakes are obviously based on my own personal experience and those that I've spoken to that I know. So these might not necessarily be applicable to you that are working or about to work or just got your first job. But I think that it wouldn't hurt to learn from my experiences and others' experiences that I will be sharing here. So first mistake that a lot of us make when we get our first job is I can afford everything and anything. And in South Africa, a lot of, when you do start an entry-level position, you'll probably be earning anything from 5,000 to about 10,000, sometimes even more, depending on whether you have a degree, a master, like depending on your qualification, or whether it's an actual job or a graduate program or an internship, anything of that nature, right? Depending on the type of job, level of education, and obviously type of company and how they pay, right? Because each company pays differently according to market related, or just maybe that company doesn't have a lot of money, so they'll obviously pay you what they can afford. So a lot of the time with your first job, you may be earning 6 grand, 7 grand, 8 grand, which is a lot of money if you don't have responsibilities like rent, a car, or just, a lot of things to pay for. If you're straight out of varsity and you don't really have any bills and probably still living at home, so you're not really paying for anything, in that way, it could be sufficient to sustain you for about, a year of your life. And then after that, I would imagine that you'd want to get a car, your own place, then 7 grand or so wouldn't be enough. But with your first job, one of the biggest mistakes that you'll make, especially if it's your first time earning a salary, is you'll feel like you can afford everything. And you're probably thinking, that won't be me. I'm quite good with money. You probably are, and I probably just wasn't. But more than anything, when you get your first job, one of the first things that you think is, I can afford everything. So what do? You buy everything. And one thing that I can advise you is take it easy. Take it easy. Take a deep breath. How can I put it? Think about where you're wanting to go. Yes, this is your first job. You're excited. It's your first salary. It just hit your bank account. Some of you might believe in giving your first salary to your parents. Obviously, each of us have different beliefs and things like that. So obviously, you might not then enjoy your first salary, but then when your second salary hits, it's all yours because you don't have to give it to your parents. But I just want to say this, take it easy, breathe in, breathe out. Yes, 9 grand is a lot of money, but you cannot afford the world. It might seem like it might feel like it, but after swiping a few times and seeing your bank balance deplete, and then it's the 15th of the month and now you don't have money to go to work because you spent it on the world and haven't really considered that 9 grand needs to literally last you from the day you get paid to your next payday, or even past your next payday, right? But essentially, the first mistake we make is that we think we can afford everything, and you really can't. Chill, take it easy, feel it out, get accustomed to it before you just go and spend it all on everything. The second mistake that we make is related to the first one. Seeing that you feel like you can afford everything, you'll be tempted to take out credit. Now, this could be wanting to get yourself a cell phone. This could be wanting to get yourself a car. This could be, various things. And I find that because you are probably now in a permanent position as your first job, if it is a permanent position, you're obviously feeling blessed. You have that feeling of job security. You know that you won't get fired, or you won't lose your job at any given point. So obviously, you're thinking, I need to get a car. I need to be able to move from A to B. When it comes to the car thing, I can't really give you any financial advice or any advice at all because I don't have a car. So I wouldn't be able to gauge whether that is a good decision for you or not. So with that, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'm not knowledgeable on that to give you any advice. But when it comes to credit, baby boy or girl, I can advise you. Now, the thing with working, and obviously now you can afford a lot of things, one of the things that you'll probably find is that you'll want to maybe get the latest cell phone, and this is the cell phone that you've always wanted. And a lot of the cell phones these days range from anything from 5,000 to 38,000 or even more, depending on when the phone was released and what type of phone it is. And it is so easy, for us as young people to be like, okay, I do want the latest cell phone. I want my pictures to be popping. My Instagram needs to be crisp, baby. My pictures need to be sharp. Listen, I get it fully. I get. I'm with you on that one. And a lot of the time we would be then tempted to get a cell phone. I remember when I started working and I needed a cell phone. Now, I can't say I'm the exception to the rule because at that point I really did need a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone. But more than anything, I remember the P10 Lite had just come out. The Huawei P10 Lite had just come out. And it was 5,000 Rand at the time. I could have saved for it, but I just wasn't thinking that far. For me, it was about getting the phone right away and having it with me. So I went to the specific phone shop and I was like, hey, I want to get a cell phone. I'm working here, my pay slips, here, my bank statements. Being new to credit, nobody's taught me about credit. I knew nothing about it. They were like, okay, we can't give you any cell phone for the amount that you want because you don't have a credit history. So go open up a clothing account and then come back to open up a clothing account, buy an item, pay it off, and then come back to us, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, I get a salary every month, I have a permanent job, I can afford to pay this clothing account, I want the phone. I went one weekend and opened a clothing account. After opening that clothing account, all is well. They gave me credit of 1,500 Rand. I'm feeling on top of the world because I'm thinking I can buy clothes and not have to pay for them immediately, but not really understanding the interest rates and not also understanding that some months are not going to be good, even though I do have a consistent salary coming in. There are things that pop up, then that money that you're supposed to pay for the account with, you now have to use it on something else. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about the cell phone. Cool, I open up the clothing account and then I go to the store and I then get my cell phone. I am so excited. I even get insurance for the phone because I'm thinking I can afford it. Okay, baby, you couldn't tell me anything. But I was able to pay it for the first, couple of years. I was able to pay it. But as it kept progressing, it really became like a heavy burden for me every month to see that debit order go off, especially when there were things that I really wanted to do outside of paying, for a cell phone that I really could have bought cash or even lay bought. And as we know, with lay buying, there's no interest. I continued with that and I just got to a point where I wasn't even able to pay my phone on some months because there would be other things that needed my attention financially that I had to attend to. So then my phone would be blocked. Now you're probably thinking that will never be me, especially when you have a permanent job. There are people who are earning probably way more than I'm earning and probably struggle to meet all of their needs every month. So when it comes to credit and debt, a lot of people thought that they wouldn't be in those situations, but they are today. So we all start off thinking, I will manage, I will be okay. And along the line, something happens. I don't know what, but something happens. So essentially what I'm saying to you, as much as you might, be having this first job, earning good money, always just look at ways in which you can avoid credit. I understand that, we want what we want when we want it, and you're probably going to look at your credit score, and it's probably it's probably in good standing because you've never maybe applied for credit or whatever the case might be. But just as a warning, if you're going to purchase things, just try your best to purchase them cash or lay-by. Lay-by is a great option. I believe in it fully. It's not easy, especially when you want things when you want them. You want to, for instance, you want a TV that just came out and it's maybe 20 grand. It's a Samsung TV that I want and it's really expensive. But anyway, it's a TV that you might want and it's really expensive. The thought of lay buying it for the next year is really annoying. Like, why am I lay buying it if I could just pay for it for the next 3 years? But sometimes I look at, if you look at certain things, they write at the bottom the full amount that you'll pay back. And sometimes it's like, yikes, there is something else that I could be doing with that money. All I'm saying is that with your first job, just exercise caution, educate yourself as to interest rate, the cost of things, and more than anything, if you can get it on lay-by, go ahead and get it. But I obviously understand the pressures of the world that we live in, that okay, you need to have a cell phone that takes crisp pictures of you, especially for us maybe that have YouTube channels. You obviously want a phone that especially if you can't afford to buy a camera like myself, I obviously want a phone that is going to capture every imperfection, a phone that is going to have a lot of memory space for when I edit my videos, and various things of that nature. So I get that some of us use our gadgets for businesses or whatever the case might be. But if anything, make sure that you try your best to avoid debt. One thing I can tell you is that when you start working, there will be a lot of things that you weren't able to acquire before, and you'll feel like you can acquire them now. But just as a point of caution, breathe, take it easy, and then from there, make decisions. If you are going to get a phone on contract, just do your best to pay it on time, because you do not want your name to be in the red with the bureau. I'm talking from experience here. You don't want that. But anyway, those are some of what I've realized, the two biggest mistakes that we make when we start working is that firstly, we think we can afford everything. And secondly, we get ourselves into debt. I think a lot of people that are in debt one day would probably tell you that it started when they got their first job or maybe at a later stage. I really wouldn't know each and every person's situation, but more than anything, take it easy, breathe in, breathe out. I understand you want what you want, but weigh your options. And if you can save for something, save for it. Like now that I'm living on my own, honey bun, I've learned that, I don't know why I called you guys honey bun. I like being called honey bun. So I called you guys honey bun, sorry. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I forgot what I wanted to say now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please just weigh your options before you get into debt or think that you can afford the whole world. Prioritize. That's important. What is important to you? Is a car important to you? Is a nice cell phone important to you? Is having them both at the same time important to you? Prioritize. And I think COVID has taught us to prioritize. When COVID began, I didn't think I was going to lose my job. I was like, I'm going to be fine, because it started off with me being fine and me feeling blessed that I had a job. But then as COVID continued, I lost my job and my bills didn't stop happening. My bills still continued. And with that being said, that could be you, that could be anybody. So with everything, exercise caution, think about it 2 times, 3 times, run it, run it through a friend, talk to it, you get me. And then I guess you'd be able to make the best decision. And also, you can't afford everything. So that's that. That's on period. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, ladies and gents.